filmmaker here with an important announcement. You may remember me from movies like The Terminator, but I would like to talk about one particular movie where I go to Mars. There is this mountain called Pyramid Mountain, and all this crazy alien shit goes on inside it. Do you think that's all science fiction? Think again, my friends. That's why you have to tune in to Pyramids on Mars UFO radio show on artisfirst.com. My friend Kevin Estrella, he is in a band called Pyramids on Mars. He has also been contacted by aliens. This guy has been a guest on over 15 UFO radio talk shows, so you have to listen to him. There's something going on, and it can't be ignored. He interviews people who have been abducted by aliens. He interviews alien-human hybrids. This is no bullshit. So get to the chopper. Do whatever you have to do and go listen. Get your ass to Mars. Pyramids on Mars. UFO Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to acknowledge your lead and turn it into gold. Welcome to Alchemy 101 on the Artist First Radio Network. All past shows are archived. You can download them anytime at artistfirst.com. And now here he is, your host. It's Halo Marquise.
Hey guys, how you doing tonight? So it's good to be back in Portland. If you guys checked in last week, I was in Tampa for all last weekend, and we had done a pre-recorded show. So it's nice to be back live. And how you doing, Sherry? Falcon, I see you, man. How you guys doing? And so this is Alchemy 101. I'm the host, founder of Mystech, CEO, wizard, alchemist, multidimensional traveler. We do really crazy things around here. But Halo Marquise, guys, welcome to the show. Tonight I want to kind of talk to you guys, and we've touched on it the last few nights for different shows, about the idea of the American dream, or all these things that we're told to focus on. And so tonight's title is called Realizing the Dream is a Nightmare. And once you realize that, like any other nightmare, it's very easy to wake up very quickly and realize, is this really real? Is the fear a real thing? And the weird thing about it is, once you realize that it is a dream, if you're familiar with metaphysics and alchemy, you also know that lucid dreaming is a thing. So once you realize that this is kind of like a dream version of what we really could be doing, you can learn to really take control of that and direct your dream to be the way that you want it to be, until you're so awake that it's more of a walking vision. And, I like to talk about that a lot. Also, on a real quick note, just a quick shout out, a really good friend of mine, Ariel Monet, is up visiting on a little vacation from Phoenix. So she might jump in and say hi every once in a while, but I couldn't trick her into getting on camera. That's probably a good idea. I'm a little too crazy for most people, but she is in the building, and we're excited to have her up here in Portland, having a great time. So anyways, guys, I promise tonight's going to be a fun time. I'll do my best to stay within the channel if you guys are live on the Facebook. If not, and you would like to join us, just add me, Halo Marquise, just exactly how it sounds. And I'm planning next week to try to do live on YouTube. I just don't have as many people on the channel, and I really do enjoy the interaction. So I'll keep everything posted and up to date as much as I possibly can. All right. So let's get into it. So normally, I told you guys we're going to be breaking this into some new segments. So one of the first segments that we're going to be doing is called the Newly Awakened. It's for people that are new to metaphysics, new to manifestation, taking control of their life. And one of the things I want to tell you guys about, just because I didn't have anyone on with me tonight on the show, is this trip that I had to Tampa, guys. I had so many amazing, synergistic, insane moments that there's no way that this stuff could just be by coincidence. And so just by following the path that I feel has been laid out for me, and there's really no version of fear or doubt that I will ever accept is for me. We just move forward and we do progressive things, and we try to grow and acknowledge every single moment. You know, the main focus of Alchemy 101 is acknowledging your lead and turning it into gold, right? Because we all have these things that we feel are weighing on us and are wrong and toxic, but really these are the things that are the blessings of our lives, the experiences we get to go through to, you know, gain this amassed strength and power and really overcome and have these fun experiences. So if you don't have this difficulty, then you're not going to have growth, right? There's not a seed out there that doesn't grow unless it's buried first. So just know that, guys. Grab onto your weaknesses and figure out a way to turn them into a strength. It can be done every single time. And most of the people I see that are live in the channel with me right now, I know at least you guys all, at least one of you, I can think of one story I can relate with each one of you of something that was difficult that you've been able to overcome. And that's just an amazing thing. So, you know, first of all, everyone out there that is going through difficult times, you know, just know this is something that's preparing you for something great. So be excited about the bad stuff, you know, look forward to that because that's where you're going to grow. That's where you're going to learn. So this weekend, all right, since I don't have someone to talk about the newly awakened, I want you guys to understand a couple things. So I was in Tampa out at Wagon Wheel for this flea market, all right? I was with Mr. Jeff Dowdery, the Christian whistleblower. And guys, he's had me on his show a handful of times now. And I got to tell you, I had such an amazing time with him in person, right? So Jeffrey, he does all sorts of different things, and he is really one of the most like really woke, consciously people that's out there that's making a really, really big impact. Part of what he does also is disproving people that are claiming, you know, bullshit and things that are not real. And coming across Mistech, as you know, many times, many people are skeptic. You know, long story short, I came on the show because he discovered that ours actually did work. And he's been a huge supporter of the company, and I love everything that he's doing, and he's really making a positive impact. So I was lucky enough to fly out to Tampa this last weekend and do this event with him. On top of getting able to meet him, I met probably, a little over a dozen and a half people, maybe 24 people that actually traveled down to Florida to meet Jeffrey and myself, and it was amazing. All right, we had this woman come down from New York, absolutely amazing. We had some guy from Arkansas that came down, and we saw miracles like literally overnight, guys, right? As a really quick example, this was really fun. So we were at a very big flea market, and all the surrounding vendors are looking at us like we're crazy because you guys know with Mistech, you know, we have this biotech stuff, and it does things to the body, and they're seeing us do these tests. And by the end of the night, these two vendors came over, and this one guy was like, all right, man, what kind of shit is this? Like, show me what it is. And as soon as I do the test, he freaks out, and he goes, babe, I think this might be real. You got to try it. After talking a little bit, come to find out this guy actually broke his right ankle, right, a few months ago, and he still had really bad swelling on his right leg. And he asked me if the Mistech stuff would help him. And I was like, yeah, I can't tell you how much because I don't know how bad it really is, but yeah, you should definitely see some improvements. And so I ended up just trading them for some stuff. You know, I just like getting the stuff out and letting people experience the technology. And so the next morning, before I'm even getting out of my car, he's like, hey, Lo, man, I think I'm a believer. I think you made a believer out of me. And I go, what's up? What happened? And he walks up and he pulls his pant legs up, guys, and his right leg was now the exact same size as his left leg overnight, right? So he was freaking out all day, and he was bouncing up and down on it and dancing. And it was just amazing to see this guy like have this like, you know, just experience overnight. You can see how happy he was, and he was doing these things he hasn't done in a few months. And then his wife, and I didn't even mention this because it was you know, she was tough. She was very not excited about even trying it out. But even once we came over and got set up, she's like, hey, Lo, look, you know what? I had a story too. You know, just because how I sleep, my legs usually like kind of have to sleep in the morning, and I kind of like hobble for, you know, a few feet. And in the morning, I got up and I realized that I'm walking totally fine. And I couldn't tell you the last time that happened. So these guys ended up becoming some new distributors in the Tampa area, or at least in Florida. They were like super excited, super blown away, right? Now, a couple weird things happened, okay? I got 3 different delays in my flights, right? You guys know I'm a big, big believer in divine timing and synchronicity. And one of the rules of Mistech and of just my life in general is you don't say no to the universe, right? So that means if something comes that's unexpected, something that comes unplanned, any of those things, the universe knows that you can handle this. This is an experience that you need for growth. And until you accept it that way, you're going to get the same type of lesson coming to you over and over and over until you understand that it's just something that's there for your own growth. So as I'm posting on social media and trying to keep everyone up to date, and hopefully you guys, like I've been trying to get our Snapchat stuff up, get a little bit more behind the scenes things, but as I'm posting these things about my delays, it ends up that they're not even going to be able to get me home the same night, and I'm going to end up having to stay in Dallas for the night, right? So I'm posting this, and everyone that was worried and upset for me, and thank you guys, I appreciate the support, but I didn't really have the reaction of being upset or pissed at the airline like a lot of people were kind of suggesting or feeling for me. So I was like, no, I trust that the universe just needs me in Dallas for something, and you know, so I'm just gonna go and see what happens. So this is an interesting thing, guys. All these people that are on this plane, right? And this is why light workers, people that are out there trying to make a positive impact, I'm so appreciative of you guys, because when I got into the, you know, deeper, darker places of society, of a bunch of people that are waiting to get on a plane and having to fly to a different destination and spend the night, don't get me wrong, I understand frustration, but these people were like pushing each other out of the way trying to get off the plane. Like just being rude, trampling over each other. And there was one gentleman that I saw that was kind of in a suit, and he was being very polite and very calm and was like, excuse me. And, oh, no, it's fine. I'm not in a rush. And he was like the only decent human being I saw amongst all the people there. And, you know, that's just what I saw. So when I get downstairs to get on the bus to go to the hotel, I see people even trampling over each other, trying to get onto the wrong shuttle bus. So I was just like, this is crazy. You know what? I'm going to take a lift. So as I said that out loud, that same gentleman that was being nice upstairs, he overheard me say that, and he goes, did you say you're going to take a lift to the hotel? And I go, yeah. He asked if I would mind if I split the ride with him, and I was trying to, you know, tell him I'd let him ride with me, but you don't have to pay anything because I saw you being a decent human being, and, you know, that should be rewarded, because right now people look at that as weakness, and, you know, yeah, go ahead, you can ride with me. And he still insisted to give me $10, but I tried to argue for a while. It was fine. It's good. Come to find out, and I can't get into all the details just yet because we're still talking some things, but this guy's like a documentary director, and we might be doing some big work. And this guy's done some things on like Amazon Prime, and so we might have a big documentary coming, so we can give you guys a lot more. Hey, Seth, what's up, man? So we give you guys a lot more behind the scenes, and this guy has a huge camera crew. And so if I did not get delayed and end up in Dallas, then I never would have had this car ride with this amazing gentleman. Also, his girlfriend, I believe, runs some holistic healing stuff, and they want to start selling Mystic in their shop now. So again, this is one of those things. If I would have got upset and angry about the delays and everything, I highly doubt that it would have turned out that way. So as soon as I'm done talking to him, you know, I get back to my room. I call my wife and I tell her the good news. And in the morning, boom, I get to the airport. I'm getting ready to come back. Now, if running into this guy and getting this deal set up wasn't enough, on top of that, when I'm getting ready to wait, someone's angry. I'm sorry you're angry. It's okay. I love you. I'm just trying them out. Okay, cool. Have a good time. So as I'm waiting, just about to get on the plane, this other guy walks over to me. Thank you, Jackie. It was phenomenal. Like, he was such a good guy. I'm standing in line waiting for my group number to get called to get on the plane, and I hear this guy go, "Halo," and I look over and I'm all, Steve. And he was like one of the first people ever to get Mystech in Portland almost 4 years ago. And he got Organite from me a couple different times, and we've talked about that. And I'm usually not good with names, but I'm really good with faces. And I thought, man, after all the delays, and I met this one guy for the director thing, then I run into a friend from Portland, like all these things all happened just because I embraced what was going on with the delays and all these other things. So it was absolutely amazing, man. Like it was so nuts. And another really good thing, if you guys saw the Snapchat, this was unreal to me. So I use this service called Turo, where you rent people's cars. It's really similar to like Uber and Lyft, but you just get the car. So usually the person will meet you somewhere and they just like drop you off with the car. Like they meet you at the airport, give you their car, and then they have another car take them. Well, I met this guy named Philip, right? This dude was from Greece, and he was like, honestly, guys, probably one of the best human beings I've ever met in my entire life. Like I was so blown away by just how friendly he was, how communicative he was. Like when I first got there, I was waiting for my hotel to get ready and stuff, and he had overheard me saying Cuban coffee to my wife on the phone, and he was like, dude, I know the best place in town, and drove me over there, bought me a cup of coffee, sat down, told me all these amazing stories about him traveling around the world, all this stuff, and I was just like, man, like this guy's more of a host. Like he's not even renting this to me. And we ended up, like, he took me to a place to get a cigar with him, and I'm sure I made a friend for life just because of this trip. Hanging out with Jeff Daugherty. Man, guys, if you guys are unfamiliar and you want to get just more familiar with some of the crazy stuff that's going on behind the scenes, I'm going to do the best I can, but this guy's been doing it. He is amazing, all right? So his name's Jeff Daugherty, He's in my friends list. He's on YouTube. Yeah, just look him up. He's an amazing guy, and we had some really incredible experiences while I was in Tampa. Man, I was very blessed to go down there. I also met an amazing individual that makes orgonite, and guys, I got to tell you, this is crazy. So, long story short, you guys know I believe in manifestation, right? Matt Flores, hey, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah. It's called synchronicity, right? When you're doing things right, the universe will bless you with like just insane coincidences that happen. So I truly believe in manifestation, and I believe that we can see our future, and that we can manifest it, right? So a long time ago, when I first got introduced to orgonite, I got to tell you guys, this is crazy. I'll give you the short version. A friend of mine, my Reiki master, introduced me to this gentleman named Jason the Wizard, right? He looks like Gandalf, one of the sweetest human beings I've ever met. But long story short, all I did was send him a message on Facebook and said, hey, I heard you could teach me how to make orgonite. And his reply was, yeah, man, hit me up whenever you're ready. I'll let you know. That was all that we said. That night, I had a crazy dream about a 45-story skyscraper, the Mistech building, right? And every floor, we had 45 floors, and every floor was devoted to a different type of metaphysics or French science, and every floor had about 100 people, right? So on my desk, I had a computer, I had a little pitcher of water with like some bamboo in it, and I swear to you guys, check this out. I had this very piece of orgonite that's in my hand right now was on my desk in this dream, right? And that dream, check this out, that dream, if you can see it, if not, guys, on the radio, just know it's an amazing clear piece. It looks like a little bullet, but it's a good size. Anyways, I had a dream of this piece of orgonite in my skyscraper building of Mistech. And when I was down in Tampa, the gentleman that was making orgonite, he was showing me all these pieces, and I noticed it. And he was kind enough to bless me with it and this amazing pyramid. I'll show you guys next week. I'm doing some things with the pyramid right now, but because I told him about the dream, he actually blessed me with it. And so I have to tell you guys, I truly believe that now that I have this piece of orgonite, this is like the first part of the building block, to getting to this skyscraper. And so part of it already manifested itself. So I'm super excited to see where it goes and what happens with it. Okay, so these are the things that happen, just embracing the oddities and rarities and hiccups that you come along in the journey. And I'm telling you, when you embrace them, incredible things will happen to you. You never know the things that you don't know. So just embrace the moment and really, really enjoy it. I mean, that's the part of life, right? We can't always be so focused on the goal, the process, the experience along the way. That's where the beauty part is, right? And what's really weird about that is those are fleeting moments, guys, right? So just because I saw him jump in the channel, a really good friend of mine, Seth, right? We've done a lot of events together, and we've done ones that last for a couple days. And what's really interesting is when you very first get there, it's this super like intense level of energy and excitement and the level of communication and the magic that happens right there. And then a few days go by, and all of a sudden it's gone and it's over. And if you don't really focus on those moments and that excitement, like you miss out on so many different things because the moments just flash so quick. So just focus on these things, guys. Like, you know, really spread those times out as much as you can and really live in it. Don't worry so much about the result. If you're in the moment and you're enjoying that, the result's going to come. Okay. So that's what I got for the Newly Awakened for this week, guys. Next week, I'm going to do my best to get someone on and go over their experience. And we got a lot of other really good things that are coming. So part of the realizing the dream is a nightmare. I don't want to miss some things on here, guys. So the main thing that's running the world behind the world, all right, things that if you look at it in the right light and really try to dissect the reality of the situation, it's going to have a huge impact on your day-to-day, all right? And the first thing I want you guys to think about is fear, all right? Fear is the number one thing. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care about money, love, sex, any of that. But that's all shit. Fear is the number one thing that runs our current society. All right, and I want you guys to think about this, because when you get into diets, you don't know what to really try because you're scared about it might do this or it might do that, or you might have to give this up. When you start dating someone, you get scared about maybe losing them in the future. Every single thing, like you don't want to try the job out of fear not getting it. All these things that are based in fear run us every single day, right? And we all know, you know, it's got the, forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. And if you do that with fear, then your life is very, very different. If you face it and actually rise to the occasion, you know, Will Smith has an amazing motivational video about skydiving, right? And it's that moment in fear and overcoming it. That's where the magic is, and that's where you have that control, right? And this is one of the main reasons that, you know, the way that I think about spirituality and everything, that's one of the main problems I have with almost every single religion, is they're all based off of risk and reward, right? So you've got, don't me wrong, in all places you have good and bad people. So I'm not trying to stereotype at all, but one version of being outside of the program, you have way less opportunity of doing these things for selfish reasons. So whether you're doing it for the reward or you're doing it out of the fear of going to hell, those are fear still based things. Like doing something out of love has nothing to do with anything, guys. And I want you to understand something. So in physics, right, we like to talk about technology and things that we don't really study in America anymore. You know, it's the Kardashians in sports and whatever president's doing what. That's what we study. But in physics, they have this recent thing that came out that they say cold is actually not a real thing. It's not a real unit of measurement, right? All cold is a lack of heat. Okay, so that means the less heat that there is, the colder it is. But there's not something that is inherently cold. It's just a lack of heat. Now, if you look at things, again, as we are energetic beings, all the things that we can apply to physics, we can apply to our being as well. So when you see hate, what you need to understand is there's not a real measurement of hate. Hate is a lack of love. So you cannot turn around and give hate to hate and expect to have any type of change, the same way that you can't give cold to cold and expect heat to magically appear. Right? Does that make sense? So any of those moments where you're down, you're negative, you're wanting to yell or snap at somebody, like go the other version and realize how silly it is to be that upset over usually absolutely nothing. And giving that kindness, like you can change that one person in a split second to have a better day. And that better day could change them from literally saving their lives. Like one of the things that we had at Mistech is, give these compliments all the time. And I'm very, very positive that we probably saved someone's life that was probably thinking about ending it just because they got that compliment, guys. This is not a world where appreciation and gratitude is what runs rampant, right? What runs rampant is weed and fast asses, and like this is just the world that we live in now, and it's crazy. And this is why when people are nice or kind, people get so like drawn back, because that's just not the norm. Imagine that you live in a life right now that being nice is not the norm. And it's easy to complain about these things, guys, but the main focus is to be the change, right? So any of the things that you don't like, then your option is to change. You don't get the option to judge and not try to make an impact. So I'm a realist. I don't try to hurt people's feelings or anything like that. But, Bill Burr, I talked about this before. He talks about, you ate your way into this. You can run your way out. You can't get mad about someone stating a fact. Your opinion and your feelings, guys, you can be nice and kind to people, but you can't do it at the expense of the truth. The truth is what you have to seek. No matter where it takes you, no matter how you feel about it, if you seek the real truth, you will be free. You might not like it, but there's a huge amount of liberation and responsibility that comes with that. And when you understand that, you understand the power that you really yield, right? And so this is why you cannot let things like fear really be something that's going to be like affecting you or driving you. And like, guys, they do this with everything. Like, I'm in Oregon, so 420 is going to be the Olympics all over this state tomorrow. Think about how long cannabis was stigmatized. Like for a while, I believe somewhere it was written that a guy smoked it and it turned him into a bat, right? So the fear of that has people like, oh no, I'm not going to do it. And they have these crazy McDonald's commercials of people running into kids, and like, I've never seen anyone on the medicine that's ever, done anything like that. But the stigma of it and the fear of it have people away from it for centuries. And now they're like, oh, look, it cures this, it cures this, it cures this. It can replace paper, like all these things. So most of the things that are there designed with fear are things that will liberate you and be good for you and heal you. Like it's crazy. The same thing with, look at this, guys, like sex and violence, right? In our world right now, in our society. There's close to like 83% of every show that you watch has a high level of violence where murder takes place. And this is things that are okay to be on TV and in movies and so on. But then you have other things, and I'm not saying get into crazy, freaky, over stuff, where Trump's, but I am saying, anything sexual, whatever, you hide the eyes, push away these things. This is something that creates life. And this has a stigma on it. The thing that creates death is way more acceptable than push in front of us. So these are just things, guys. I mean, you look at it, take rap versus hip hop, right? There's amazing hip hop artists out there that get no play, no recognition, no anything, because they're not talking about violence. They're not talking about negativity. And because that's not, again, the way that the world can be run off of growth in the mainstream, it has to be these fear-based things. So get away. Hey, Ginger, how you doing? So get away from those things and really just chase after the love and the good things. And that's the next part of what I want to talk to you guys about is research, right? If you're on the show, thank you so much for joining us, Alchemy 101. that means hopefully you are want to do research and you are to find out more about life and love and just being a real good human. Like these are basic things. But guys, in your pocket, you have a supercomputer that you can get any information that you want at any time. And anytime you're looking something up, I really, really urge you to make sure. Hey, I love you too. Thank you. I had such a great time this weekend. Oh, it's an amazing woman. Great time, great time. But you guys don't know this. You can go to Harvard's website and download like 25,000 books for free. There's 2,500 classes that you can take for free. There's information out there, guys. We are in the age of information. And, I say this, people don't want it. People don't want to do the research because we live in this 2-second world. They want their doctor or their pharmacist to tell them something, not understanding that these are things that get you hooked, and these are things that you're gonna have suicidal thoughts and like all these things. This is the norm. Earlier, I was telling you guys that hey, This Human Life, yes, absolutely. Guys, check their Facebook page out, man. This Human Life, they're amazing people, man. Very positive, very direct. It helped me grow already in a little bit of time. I appreciate you guys, man. But, I was saying earlier, I had my friend in town, Ariel, and we were watching this show and a commercial came on and they were talking about, I think it was for upset stomach, right? And the way that they were talking about the side effects and all these things, it said, do not give this to a child up to the age of 6. And do not give this to children between the ages of 6 and 18. And that's exactly what it said. We both started dying laughing. And like, these are the commercials that we have from the people that we want to get our research from without doing research, guys. I'm just saying it's called practice for a reason. So know that. People don't even want to talk to anyone that knows anything. They want to talk to their friends. They want to talk to their family. They want to talk to all these things that take 2 seconds. Like, guys, think about this. With Mistech, most of the people that are in here, most of the people that are listening to me right now, unless you're on the radio, and shout out to you guys that are on my Facebook page, love you guys, know that I run Mistech, which is a biotech company. And we have a huge amount of skeptics that come along with this. And on our website, we actually have an hour, 45-minute long documentary done by physicists that have nothing to do with our company. And I will have people come up and tell me to my face that our technology is not real, but they will not take the time to watch the documentary. So, guys, if you do the research for any information out there, you can really find the truth of the matter. Don't worry about what you heard, what you were told, what's being propagandized, none of those things. I saw an amazing video by someone. Be careful where you source it, guys. It's a good point, Falcon. That's what I said. When you're sourcing it, make sure that you look up multiple references. But I saw this guy who has a new diet group that's coming out on Facebook. And what he talked about was, don't worry about what this new scientific thing is or what this old diet thing is or any of that. Let's look at the history of when, the American person took the turn to obesity. Let's look at nothing else other than that. And the one thing that was the biggest change was sugar became in the mainstream. It wasn't something that just rich people could get anymore, right? So this was one change that don't even talk about it. But if you look it up and find out about the dangers of sugar, it doesn't just do things to your circulation. It doesn't just do things to your body fat. It does things to your brain, guys. It literally slows it way down. I had some sugar today. I got a hard time finding the words. Just, ha ha ha. Guys, give me 1 second. If you're in the group, I just got to get some water real quick. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. Check out the Mistech commercial, and I'll be right back with you guys. I just need to grab some water real quick. Love you guys.
Brought to you by Mistech. Welcome to the future. Go to mistech.net for the full story, but in the meantime, stop thinking about leveling up and just get some Mistech. People all around the world share their experience and love how they feel after putting it on. We offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, along with a lifetime warranty. WTF? What the frequency? Find out today at mistech.net.
Get ready, Jade. I've got a surprise adventure you're going to love. Really? We're going to swim with Sally the tiger cub. Even get a photo with her that you can share with all your friends.
I don't want to go, Mom.
I'll be good to go after this.
I thought you'd love this.
I'm okay, but I feel terrible for those poor tiger cubs. Did you know that they're stolen from their mothers the day they're born?
What?
Yeah. How do you feel if someone kidnapped me at birth? Well, and when it comes to normal things like nip and paw, they're punished for those stuff for photos. And how would you feel if you were a baby and they pushed you into a deep pool to swim for your life?
I never thought about it that way.
And when they get
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm ready to go whenever this is over.
We're
Okay.
doing all that.
I'm sorry. Are you ready to come back?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Stand by.
Thank you.
Humans. So teach your children well. Learn more at stopbigcatabuse.com.
Hello, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
here.
crap. I'm sorry. I missed this. I'm going to have to listen to this. We'll come in after this one. Sorry
No,
about
no
that.
problem.
Like the Terminator. But I would like to talk about one particular movie where I go to Mars. There is this mountain called Pyramid Mountain, and all this crazy alien shit goes on inside it. Do you think that's all science fiction? Think again, my friend. That's why you have to tune in to Pyramids on Mars, UFO radio show on artistsfirst.com. My friend Kevin Estrella, he is in a band called Pyramids on Mars. He has also been contacted by aliens. This guy has been a guest on over 15 UFO radio talk shows, so you have to listen to him. There's something going on, and it can't be ignored. He interviews people who have been abducted by aliens. He interviews alien-human hybrids. This is no bullshit. So get to the chopper. Do whatever you have to do and go listen. Get your ass to Mars. Pyramids on Mars. UFO radio.
You are listening to Alchemy 101 on the Artist First Radio Network. You can also hear us on TuneIn. All past shows are available as podcast downloads. Visit artistfirst.com. And now back to your host, it's Taylor Marquise.
All right, guys, cool. Thank you for that. Awesome. So guys, so we're at. So with this research thing, right? This is we live in a very big traditionalist version of society now, right? So we have a lot of people that. And I'm not saying that they're all bad. Yeah, that was my organite. Yeah, what I just played up during the commercial was my pyramid of organite that I made. That's what my babies take it with me. It was in Tampa. But guys, this is the thing. I'm not saying that the traditions that we have are a bad thing, but I'm saying the reasoning behind some of them is not. Right. So this is what I mean. If you go and meet with your family for any of the holidays, and the reason that you guys need to meet together is for the holidays, then that's fine. Use that. That's not a bad thing. At least you're getting something positive out of it. But the fact of continuing to do something just for the sake of this is how we've always done it, but there's no real progressive or productive reason for that. And if I push buttons, guys, it's cool. Please, this is a live thing. Any questions, anything, I'd like to discuss this. But a big thing I have is, and I'm not saying being rude, but people that will blindly follow elders because this is the way that it goes. We live in a society right now where look at our Congress, our House of Representatives, all our politicians, right? If you're over the age of 40, you don't really have much of a pulse on what's going on in America right now. And I'm not saying that across the board, but the majority of it, we just move in a much faster time. Like my 10-year-old even is light years beyond me in all sorts of different ways because we just grew up in a different way. So I'm not saying to be overly rude, but you can't pretend and do these extra dances just to satisfy an elder if it's something that's impeding on your own growth or even theirs with them not really knowing about it. So we have this thing all the time well, that's how I was raised. Guys, this is a thing, and just try this, I promise. Implement it and just try it for a week, and it's really interesting. Anytime that you come across this thing this is how I was raised, or you're questioning something because that's not the tradition of it or whatever, at that moment, take your cell phone and lock it up for the rest of the day. Because chances are when you grew up, you didn't have a cell phone either. But you made that adjustment because it fit your lifestyle, so the way that you weren't raised is now appropriate because it's something that fits your agenda. You can't do things that way, guys. This is why we have so many issues and problems in our society is people cherry pick the parts that they want to enjoy, right? It's for my vegans out there, right? And this is something me and my wife are talking about. Just the idea of something, I don't want to think about this thing. That idea sickens me, right? I don't like that idea. But do you think about the baby cow that's getting its head shot and everything before you eat your steak? No, we bypass that part so we can enjoy the part that we want to enjoy. And if we really just look at our day-to-day and our life and what we're doing, there's all sorts of things that we make, and I do it too, something we're all guilty on, but it's something that we have to admit is a problem first so we can grow with it and figure it out. We can't just push these things to the side because it fits our agenda today. That doesn't really fit. So in this 2-second, I get Netflix, I can have any movie I want. Uber, I can get a ride anywhere I want. Postmates, I can get food to my house whenever I want. Amazon, we have this 2-second thing that happens to us. And because of that, we don't take the time to even really think about a lot of the consequences and decisions that we make. And we're really, really sure about the things that we don't know because we don't know them. And we have no idea about the things out there that we don't know, right? We don't know what we don't know. There's not a way to know that. So this is why I really, really urge you to do a self-development project, really get to know yourself and your good and your bad and come to terms with that. Like these are things that are all okay as long as you're not purposely infringing on other people's space and love. Like be that being. And I'm really hoping to have Jeff on the show sometime. I'm so happy that Ginger's here. And guys, I can tell you, I think I weirded Jeff out a little bit because I don't have an off button, and I'm like this all the time. And it was so much fun to just go back and forth and have these conversations. And there were a lot of things that even pushed me out of some of my core beliefs and got me in some new thinking and some new ideas. And it was very, very beneficial. And so I really urge you, get rid of the negativity off of your site, off of your social media, all those things, but really look for things that do push you out of your comfort zone and really get to see the other side of all these different perspectives that are out there, right? So part of the segment tonight also is the herd mentality, right? This was another thing I kind of wanted to add, and I was kind of tiptoeing around it, but we have this thing where we follow the pretend leader, right? That means whoever seems to have the most confidence, even if they really don't know what they're doing, if anyone else is, doubtful to any percentage at all, they're much more likely to go with this person that's just, overly confident for no reason. And I tell you guys, go on Netflix and watch some Bill Burr stand up, and one of those, he breaks the whole thing down. It was awesome. But he talks about, whoever speaks with confidence, that's the one that knows, right? No one has to know anything, but one person be like, I know what I'm doing, and that's it. And Joe Rogan has that same shit. Yeah, check those guys out. It's amazing. But with this herd mentality, so when I was doing Mistech, right, this was the thing. I would show up and see, new salespeople, and sometimes they'd be really down because they hadn't shown anyone any Mistech today or they didn't have any sales. And guys, this is the thing. In the mall, if you stand and look around, right, and just do this, whether you work in malls, whatever, but just to observe human behavior. And if you look around and you look for actual shopping bags, right, it's a weird thing. It's called herd mentality. If maybe 1 out of, 50 people have a bag, you'll notice that most places aren't having any sales at all for the entire day. Like only a couple people are shopping, so everyone's like, oh, only a couple people are shopping. But if you get into the mall and just watch, and it doesn't even have to be a holiday, anything, but you'll see a lot of bags, and almost every single person in the mall will have a bag. It's this weird herd mentality thing that we have. And if you talk to anyone or have any friends that work at those places, ask them, and you tell you it's crazy, right? The same herd mentality is why the religious groups in growth has happened so much, because everyone has this idea that if this many people are doing it, it must be the right thing, right? So instead of taking the responsibility and learning on your own, it's, well, everyone else is doing this thing, so I guess that's what I'm going to do. And that's just the acceptable thing. Like, if we don't know, well, I don't know, and nobody knows, so I don't need to know either. Like, take responsibility of this stuff, guys. When you do this, the answers out there and what you'll discover about yourself is just so beautiful. I mean, you're human. Like, that's what you are. You are human. You don't have to be perfect. What you have to do is just have experiences and love each other. Like, why is this not the idea of every single moment of every single day, right? We skip over all these human connections all the time out of fear of our ego getting damaged, right? We don't want to lose something. Because I believe in metaphysics and I follow, and I'm a big believer in experimenting and having your own experiences and everything, guys, try different experiments. Like, go out and learn how to meditate. Try binaural beats. If you're in the States where it's legal, try some of the green magic. If you're also daring, get your hands on some DMT, guys. There's a whole special on Netflix called DMT, the Spirit Molecule. And there's this special type out there called I think it's 5-MeO, and I haven't tried it yet. I really want to, but apparently what happens is you experience like complete ego death, right? So all the things that are the me, all that goes away, and your true real being of who you are is there. And every single person that's ever done it says it's absolutely astounding and amazing, because our ego is the one thing that's really in the way of our growth in this plane. You know, we need it for our growth, but it's something that has to be acknowledged, and it's a difficult thing. You know, earlier today, I was at my son's football practice, and he was catching it, and he's brand new, and, you know, proud father. And at one moment, I'm like, man, this is what that ego thing feels like again. It was fun because I was excited for my son, but it's one of those things like, guys, it's not a bad thing, but it's something that we have to keep in check and acknowledge is a problem. Because at the end of the day, if you really want to be the real you, that has to be from the inside, right? It can't be from people on the outside and people that are judging you and putting expectations on you, because all of our value systems are different, right? We all know that one friend we had growing up that their parents made them play whatever that band instrument was, and they hated it, but they just did it for their parents and never liked it, and they were amazing at it. But no matter how good they were and how excited you were to hear them play their music, they didn't appreciate that you liked it at all, because they had no connection. It was not who they were. So this is the thing, when we build our lives around trying to make everyone else happy, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but I'm saying doing it at the cost of your true being, like, this is never going to be something that's going to allow you to really grow and develop into what you need to be, right? And at the end of the day, I really feel, and you know, anytime, you know, correct me, but I feel like it's out of fear of disappointment, and then also being lost on our own, right? Like, if you've been this way your entire life and you don't know what else to do than try to please other people, the fear of trying to figure that out is like, you know, diving into a pool without knowing how to swim, not knowing that if you just relax and breathe, you'll float, right? And you'll be right in your sweet spot, and you can realize you don't have to be afraid. You don't, guys. You are divine. You are powerful beings. That's what you are, right? If you get out of the program and step away and see it, that's what it is. Like, spend an entire week doing nothing but things for other people, and you'll never, ever, ever want to stop doing things for other people. And it's amazing, because when you feel this like glow, right, it's one of these things you want to go out and do it all the time, guys. And I'm telling you, that's why I have this show, because my childhood and my life has been insane. It's crazy. You know, I'll write a book sometime and get it out there, but there was just something that clicked. And I'm telling you guys, I am the happiest person I know every single day, and I want each and every one of you to feel that out there. Like, it's not a trick, it's not an illusion, it's not something in your mind. It's just, once you realize that this life is just, that's all it is, it's just this life, right? So enjoy it, embrace everything, make real connections, like, have eye contact, have the conversation, try the food, you know, travel. If you guys can do anything, if you're out there listening to this, one thing I tell you right now that will destroy your ego is traveling, right? And this is why. A big part of our ego comes from our nationalism and our hometown and all these things. And guys, none of these things are accomplishments that you did on your own. These are things you were born into. So when you go and travel and you lose that part of you that's so important, right? Like, I'm the best because I'm from New York, or I'm the best because I'm from LA, whatever. You get out the country and realize that where you're from really doesn't mean anything in these other places. It will humble you really, really, really quick. And the real skills and the real talents and the real version of your soul has no option but to really come out. And at that point, you have to face it and you have to deal with it. And when you realize that it's not the ego that makes you who you are, right? It's your soul, it's your light. Then you let it out and you become this like amazing blossoming person that really what we, you know, most people I know that are in this mindset, we want to develop this type of fruit, whether it's the love that we give out, the emotional feel, the energetic connection we make, but whatever version of the fruit that it is that we can create and develop, we just want more people to get it so they can develop their own gifts and continue to do that over and over and over, right? So you guys know I talk about my kid a lot. And so my 10-year-old, right, when we first came to Portland, you know, Portland has a very big homeless population, right? And we're driving down the road, and one day he goes, "Dad, you know what I just thought of? Like, we're in Portland, there's trees everywhere. Why don't we just plant like like orange and apple trees all over the place so the homeless people have something to eat, and it will be good for the environment. And he was like 10. Guys, this is a simple thing that can make such a huge impact. And I mean, obviously, there's all sorts of extra hoops, and it's not that easy to jump through because that's how bad it is. That there's hoops to jump through just to try to feed people, right? Like we have this idea in America that we're free, and I'm not saying that it's not good here, but I'm saying as far as being free, look up and see if your state allows you to even collect rainwater. Like that's, oxygen's next on the list. Like we don't even know when that's going to come. So I'm not saying that we don't have it good, but it's not as good as we really think it is, and it should be. And we need to be paying attention to our own local communities and our towns and our states way more than we need to be watching the White House right now. That's just going to be crazy for a while. And guys, I'm telling you, make little changes in your day to day, and just watch how your life changes. I promise you. Let me see, because there's a couple things I want to make sure I catch, guys. Sometimes I miss it. Let's see. Thank you, Ginger. It was awesome spending time with you. Yeah. California, it's illegal to feed the homeless. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But so let's see. Oh, this is the thing, guys. Like earlier when I was talking about responsibility, right? So there was this thing that back when I was going to church, right, and I was leaving. One of the things I heard, and this is the thing I'm telling you. What if you found out, like you say you're Christian, whatever, and you think Jesus is coming back, and maybe he is. I don't know. But what if you found out that wasn't the case, that God actually sent you to save the rest of the world? Like really, 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 just consider that for a second. What if you're the one that's here to save everybody else, and you've been so focused on all these other things that you lost the grip of this, right? And I really feel strongly that this is where a lot of people's like depression and anxiety comes from. I'm a big movie buff since I don't sleep. I got multiple TVs going on all the time. There's a movie called Unbreakable, guys, and I want you to consider this. Bruce Willis, he finds out he's a superhero, but part of the movie, what he talks about is he's woken up his whole life with like this pit in his stomach and the sickness that he feels, right? And he just always feels bad. And the first day that he actually uses his powers to save somebody is the first day he wakes up and does not have that. And he wakes up feeling amazing. So if you wake up and you're feeling depressed, you wake up and you're tired of your life and you feel like you need more sleep, consider that maybe you're not helping people the way that you should be, and try it for a couple of days and watch how your life turns around. I promise you, just random acts of kindness for no apparent reason at all, right? God sent you. You're here to save the rest of the world. If we all took on that responsibility, we would have a beautiful paradise that we could be living in. So the idea is just to push that, to the mainstream until that's the way that we're all doing it. So, when you're looking at these things, guys, your day-to-day, is it actually productive? Is there growth? Is there something that's coming out of it? If you guys are able to stay with me for a little bit longer, we're probably going to go a little bit over an hour tonight. It's a nice thing about going last. I just want to make sure I do cover quite a few things with you guys, and I won't try to keep it here too long. But sit down one day and just write over your really quick version, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., whatever, what that looks like, and really acknowledge like how much growth and productivity is coming out of this. And I'm not saying still don't relax and still don't breathe. Like, this is one of the things that when we breathe and we relax, like, you still need that for your being. You need to take time to relax, but make sure that it's not just self-indulgent. You know what I mean? We have this self-indulged ignorance thing that we do because we feel no one's watching us, but keep in mind, guys, you're watching you, and that's the guilt that you feel. If you feel guilty or down for any reason, it's because your higher self is watching, and it knows that you're not doing what you can be doing for your best growth. So just do that. It's hard to get out of the routine and out of the habit, but push yourself out of it. Morgan, you're absolutely right. We do need to figure out how to be more compassionate. Like, one of the things when I was in Tampa talking with Jeff, I kept telling him, like, guys, to be honest with you, I really want to leave this country. I want to get out of here. Like, I had to buy my son a bulletproof backpack, and it broke my heart when I was ordering this because that's the reality of the situation. And because no one really wants to step up, especially in a group setting or anything like that, everyone's waiting for someone else to do something. It's just a really scary place to be right now. So, hopefully with this and other things that I've been trying to do, we, at least in our little community in Portland, things can be a little bit better. And hopefully you guys went out trying to do that same thing. And this is the thing, guys, when we talk about a lot of these things, none of this is supposed to be coming from a place of judgment. And we need to understand that there's a difference between blame and responsibility, right? So blame is, this is all your fault, right? Responsibility is, oh, yeah, I spilled the water, and that's okay. Guys, we all make mistakes. Nobody in here has done anything, right? They haven't done anything at all. Yes, absolutely, Morgan. you know, that taking on the responsibility of anything you do wrong is totally fine, because guess what? The faster the responsibility is taken, the faster the solution can be made. So if you're, you know, even if you're not responsible, it's real easy to go, oh, it was my fault and this is a solution, and now we move forward, right? Don't worry about your ego. Don't worry about those type of things. Just be positive and look for the growth and look for the betterment in the situation, and it will always be there, right? Like right now we have this whole idea where no one should ever be shamed anymore, right? People just don't want to get shamed. They don't want the truth, and they don't want change unless it's just something that makes their life easier. So what's interesting about that is, you know, again, I talk about all the time, like I eat terribly and I'm overweight and I don't want anyone picking on me, but I know it's going to be bad for me. Well, some people need this thing and some people have a disease and it's different, but there are people out there that just self-indulge and do these things, and they don't want to hear about anything that's the truth because it's going to impact the way they want their life to be. And that's not always the way that it's going to work. There's people out there that I know that work really, really hard. They stay active, they stay motivated, they do every single thing that they can. And those are the people that I absolutely love, because no matter what problem or adversity that they have in their life, they're moving forward, they're being positive, they're making a positive impact every day. And just imagine what that ripple effect is like, guys. This is another thing, all right? The American dream, all right? This is what we were talking about. So I always say at the end of every show, with the American dream, you know, you got to be asleep for that. So if you can wake up, you can see the vision. And when you see the vision and look at it, you know, we do some good things here, but we have a lot of, you know, we still have a long ways to go. We have a lot of growth to happen, right? So if you guys don't know this, when the Department of Education was first set up, and on this, guys, I'm paraphrasing, but look it up. There's a thing called a Prussia style of education. Okay, what this is, and I'll read it to you guys, is a term for education in the service of nation building, teaching children and young adults blind obedience to authority, and reinforcing class and race prejudice. All right, I'm gonna read this again, guys. This is called a Prussia education. It's a term for education in the service of nation building, teaching children and young adults blind obedience to authority, and reinforcing class and race prejudice. Now, just saying that out loud, I don't know about you guys, but what country does that sound like? So this is the thing, guys. We can't even be mad at people that have these different types of prejudices. We can't. And I'm not saying that they should get a pass or it's justified, but guys, a lot of these things are people that were taught this one way that have never seen anything outside of that. And so the only way that anything's going to come from that is from real growth and from real education, not from fighting back and forth and getting into arguments and everything. Like, you know, we have to sit down and talk with each other and really look at the perspective. But you have to understand that when this country was built and that way the education was set up, it was not to have free thinkers. It was not. It was to have people that would learn how to work in the factory and get by just enough. So this is why it's so important that you do take the time to do your own research, that you do take time to sit with your families and read and do research and look into real important things. Like, how is it still that it's 2018 and I don't know of any classes that teach you how to do your taxes, right? There's not, like in all of high school people take, it just doesn't happen. We have this idea that we get into a 9-to-5 job, and check this out, you know, it's the weirdest thing ever. We talk about this conundrum of the life cycle that we have, right? You get a job so you can afford to live in a place that you're never at because you're at the job, and the rest of your money goes to the car that you need to be able to get to the job. But if you didn't have the job, then you couldn't have the house to not be at while you're at the job. This is why I had to quit doing the 9-to-5 and find something for my own business. And what's amazing is, even though I couldn't get her on, Ariel, right, really good friend of mine, she does the 9-to-5 thing, but she also has her own baking company, right? And talking with her about her entrepreneurship and where she was at before to where she's at now, like, it's still very nerve-wracking, but it's very liberating and very exciting, and you don't feel like you're at a job. And with this, you get the freedom to do whatever it is that you want. And people get so excited and so happy when she brings the food. And I know that because I'm one of the people that gets excited and happy when she brings the food. So we're gonna have to go shopping soon after the show because we have to have some big stuff in the house. But anyways, a couple of different things, guys. As far as the American dream, guys, these are real things. So you have to understand. I hate watching the news, but every once in a while things come across in my feed, right? And different things come across for different, I guess, misdirections that we have going on. So I find it interesting that when they talk about, hey, what's up, Ryan? How you doing? When they talk about this immigrant problem that we have, right? And it's interesting to me because we all know how this country was founded, and so I wonder at what point do we draw the line between immigrant and invader, and why one is okay and one is not. And most of the things that if we apply the exact same lens that our country does, or the way that certain laws and things are set up to another very similar situation, it's never okay. And so I'm going to talk about something really touchy right now because I had commented on someone else's thing, and I really want you guys to, anything about this, I would love to know. So if you guys have been watching, they have this thing where we recently, I guess we bombed Syria, right? Or Trump bombed Syria, whatever, right? And so again, I'm paraphrasing, guys, and I do a lot of things, so this is just the information that I've got. So again, always correct me, please. But if I understand correctly, we bombed Syria, right? This is the American dream. We bombed Syria because they were gassing or poisoning their own people. So we went over there and did that, right? So what I had commented on the video that I saw was, I wonder if this means that we're going to be bombing Flint, Michigan soon, because they've been poisoning the water up there, or does it not count because it was not in a bomb form? So how is it okay that somewhere else in another part of the world, people are being poisoned in whatever way that we really don't even fully know, right? From what I've seen, and again, not just from mass media, but people that are on the ground and so on, like, we're not even 100% sure how the gas and all these things happen, but because of that, they poison their own people, we go over there and bomb them. So the Flint, Michigan thing has been years, guys, that they haven't had clean water that could literally poison and kill them. So how is it okay for our own country to do that with no type of repercussions, but someplace on the other side of the world, completely nothing to do with any of us, where we really don't even have the full story, that's an okay thing? This is the American dream, right? When I was talking to the guy from Greece, he told me, like, in this very similar thing. I tell you guys this, you talk to people from outside of our country, and the painted version that we get of the red, white, and blue is not really the same version that everybody else has. And I mean, there's always going to be skewed opinions and bias and so on, but we got to look at the moves that we make and the things that we focus on, the things that we talk about, and we got to really see that we got some changes that we got to make, guys. And this does come down to, you do have to vote. You do have to go out there and pay attention. You do have to do research, right? That's just the way that it works. Oh, yeah, and chemtrail and the fluoride in the water and all these things. I'm telling you, this is nothing, guys. The American dream, this is, I think it's called the straw man. Like, look into these things, guys. There's things out there that you basically discover you're essentially a product of the U.S., right? Each person has a certain amount that we are able to generate. And so by supporting, like, local businesses and people that this is the way that you can really, really fight the system, I promise you, because as your friends and family are the people that you're supporting get financially free, it allows them to make more moves and positions within our political system. And it sucks even saying that, but that's the reality of the situation. Our politics and morality are not really in the same line anymore. It's businesses and money, and it's crazy, man. There's movies that show where we're headed, and there's still not people out there that are still wanting to make the right steps or take the time to do the research and learn. So this is what we've got to do, guys. I mean, we have all this free stuff, and we don't want to take it because it's free. But the stuff that is expensive, that is absolutely really nothing for us other than make it look like we have money, so we have some level of value to people, that's it. That's the only reason to have a lot of these things, and it's crazy. With our schools, we have we still have racism, guys. I didn't realize that there are people, and I mean, I did, but there's still a lot of people that don't know how serious that racism really still is right now. And it's crazy, but that's the thing. It's a thing that's taught even in schools, right? So your school now, especially how things have been coming. I mean, think about this, guys. Your schools, elementary schools, have cages that go around them, or fences, right? And there's usually 1 or 2 ways in or out. A lot of places have people that are watching the hallways. I'm talking about, guys, we're putting our kids into little mini prisons to get them ready to go straight into prisons. That's the reality of the situation for so many people, because it's difficult for these broken homes to be able to grow and have a positive impact in the community. So if we focus on doing good and doing right and supporting each other, we have less broken homes, we have less broken families, less broken communities. This is the things that we got to think about, guys. Like the modern version of racism is very, very quiet, but it happens in the background because now you have all these for-profit prisons. So these are just the modernized legal slave traders, and it's really that real. I mean, if you guys look it up and find this out, and you guys will be very surprised at some of the people that support these for-profit organizations that are out there for prisons and such. But again, this is just the American dream. But guys, this is what I want to. The bread and butter of it, right? So we're a couple minutes past, but guys, give me about 5-10 more minutes, and I promise we'll wrap it up. I'm really excited to talk about this portion of it. So up until this point, in Alchemy 101, Halo Marquise, thank you if you guys are still here with me, or if you're just coming in. We've been talking about realizing that the dream is a nightmare. So all the things I've been talking up, from fear to being able to do or not do research, to the herd mentality, to the ego building that we have, to the idea of living within the American dream. As bad as all that sounds, this is what I want to talk to you guys about, right? I very much believe in metaphysics and alchemy, and I believe, and I have done lucid dreaming and the astral projection. Guys, these are things. So even if you don't believe in the idea of astral projection, lucid dreaming is a scientifically proven thing that can be done, right? It's where you can get into a state of mind where you're lucid, you're cognate in your dream, and you can actually control what happens, right? Even when I was going to DeVry years ago in my psychology class, we had exercises on learning how to do it, right? If you guys want to get into the very deep version of astral projecting and really seeing what's out there, and I promise you guys, it's insane, but you got to check it out. Look up the Robert Monroe Institute out of California. Robert Monroe has mapped out multiple planes and goes through the exercises. But anyways, what I'm talking about is you can really learn the ability to control your dreams. All right. And, I'm big on wordplay and things being in plain sight. So if you can actually learn how to lucid dream in your dream state and control what happens, like you can actually learn how to fly on command in your dreams. Right. And it's just a dream, and you know that. But we're talking about right now, we're in the American dream. So the moment that you realize that you're in this dream, the same way that you can apply that, you can actually lucid dream in reality, right? And you can start to manifest your life exactly the way that you want. And guys, I'm telling you, like what happened to me this weekend, ending up in Dallas, that was not an accident. That is because I'm doing the path that has been put in front of me, and I'm doing it with excitement and with love, and amazing doors happen all the time, right? And what's crazy about it is the lucid dreaming is not just real in the sense of while you're asleep and doing it. Again, it's real in the mundane right here, like in the tangible. You can change and create this right now. Hey, thank you, Stevie, man. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. And Brian, oh yeah, guys, real quick, Brian Parker, right? He's in our channel. Sunday at 4 p.m. my time, I believe. I'm going to be on Tactical Sovereignty with him, and I'll get the links and stuff posted on Facebook. Be really excited. Great meeting him. It was phenomenal. But yeah, so I don't miss that. Last time I missed the message a couple of times, guys. So I'm doing my best to stick with them. But so what I'm saying is, guys, when you realize that this is not a real thing, right? This really is an illusion. This is a dream. It's the realest version of life you get. But when you realize that you can just make a conscious change to it, but you have to make a change to it, right? You start changing your pattern, you will see the results of the pattern change. So the moment that you decide that you want to start lucid dreaming in the 3D, you essentially can remix your life. Like you're taking one other song with your current life track, and you're just reshuffling together to get this amazing orchestrated DJ'd version of what the perfect song of your life sounds like, right? I've told this to you guys before. If you've never heard it before, you guys are your own universe, right? Because even though we're having a shared experience right now, like I can't see my eyes. I mean, I can because I see the camera, but looking out, I can't see my nose when I'm talking, right? So my experience is entirely my own. I'm my own universe, right? And universe is broken down, right? Again, words within words. So uni means one, and verse means song. So we are all one song in orchestra with our own energy, our own vibrations, singing in harmony, affecting each other's universes. So I'm talking about remixing your life. You can take your life's real path, its real goal, its real light, what you're really here for, with the version you're living right now and remix those two things together into your own perfect lucid vision of what your life should really be. And when you embrace it and you approach it in that manner, guys, I'm telling you, you are the most powerful being that you have no idea. Your intent has to be real. You have to know, right? You have to manifest these things, and you can do it every single day, right? And just be positive. Make sure it's productive. You do this every day, and I promise you, it's a ripple effect, right? You take control. You decide what's important to you. But that's the thing is, when you understand what's important to you, you have to know that there's going to be a loss, right? And in alchemy, equivalent exchange is the one and only true law, and that's the only one that I know that's real between all the different dimensions is equivalent exchange, right? For everything bad, there's going to be something good, and for everything good, there's going to be something bad, right? You need an equal mass to get what you want. So if you want this gain, know that you have to have a loss as well. So the more gain that you want, the higher loss that you have to have. And this is just the way that alchemy works. In the moment that you really have that realization and you embrace it, I call it putting on the wizard robe, right? When you put that on, you can literally create magic with your bare hands. And it's not, the type that you see in movies and cartoons yet, but we're working on it, guys. We got some stuff coming. But the magic that you will have will be these amazing developments in your life, these lifetime relationships, this love, this impact on your day-to-day that will just be a ripple effect, guys. And so thank you guys for sticking with me a bit longer tonight. Like I said, Sunday, I'm going to be on Tactical Sovereignty. I'll get that posted. Let me pull this up real quick. Also, an amazing other turnout. So with all my travels and shows that have been going on, I guess we had a communication thing, and I didn't think I was going to be able to go. But I'm still getting the rest of the details. It looks like next weekend, guys, April 27th through 29th, if you're in the San Francisco area, Mistech, we're going to be having a booth at the New Living Expo at the San Mateo Event Center Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we'll have a booth there if you guys are in the area. I'd love for you guys to come by. I had a great time meeting everyone that came out to Tampa. Thank you guys so much for the support. It was absolutely spectacular being out there. But guys, thank you for being with me tonight. Please leave some comments. Please share this and help me get it out. Once I get the YouTube channel up, I'd really appreciate you guys subscribing. We're trying to do some really, really big things this year, and hope you guys have some breakthroughs and embrace your inner light, man. So, this week, go out there, be good humans. Stop living the American dream. Wake up and have a vision, and live your light, guys. It's Halo Marquez, Alchemy 101. Love you guys. That's it.
Okay, you got it.
Awesome.
No,